Welcome back to another video from the worldofenglishexams.com. This video is going to talk about a very interesting question type, guys. That is matching the list of descriptions with the context. Now this question type, though it is very frequent, students often do not notice it. They don't pay attention to this question type, and when they encounter such type of questions, they are highly confused and eventually they make mistakes in this. So we wanted to make a video specifically on this question type to make sure that the next time when you see such type of questions, there should not be any confusion running in your mind, and you should approach it with the right strategy and get all the answers right. So this video we are going to understand the tips and strategies and a method to solve matching the list of descriptions and matching it with the appropriate person or the appropriate context. So what are we waiting for? Let's continue by understanding what's the basic difference between academic reading and general reading, and then we'll progress to the various question types, and then talking about the matching list of descriptions would be done. And also, and interestingly, just like any other video, we are going to solve a passage. I'm going to show you how exactly to identify this type of question, and then I'll also help you out step by step on how to get the answers right in the easiest possible way and in the time. Okay, so what are we waiting for? Let's continue. So as you can see on the screen, if you're an academic test taker, be ready to answer 3 texts and a total of 40 questions, and you need to answer them within a span of 60 minutes or 1 hour. Remember, there would not be any extra time to transfer the answers, unlike in the listening test. Yes, in the listening test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer the answers from the question paper onto an answer sheet, whereas that option is not there for the reading. So, my recommendation would be to directly transfer the answers after a section is completed, so that you save a lot of time and you don't have to rush in the last moment, right? Now, talking about general reading, it consists of 5 texts, and the rest of it is the same. You need to answer 40 questions, and the time limit is 1 hour or 60 minutes. So this is the basic difference between academic reading and the general training reading. I hope it's clear. Now, let's also get an insight into the various types of questions that you can see in the reading module. Oh yes, I can see that the screen is very colorful, and let's continue to understanding the various question types. The first one is called note completion, then followed by that is sentence completion, then we have table, summary completion, yes or no or not given, true or false or not given, short answer questions, diagram labeling, multiple choice, and last but not least, matching. So all these are the various patterns in which a candidate can be tested for their proficiency in the English language. So wondering where you can get all the information and the practice materials? Yes, we do have our awesome site, that is www.worldofenglishexams.com, and if you are a regular visitor to our YouTube channel, you'll also know that we do release videos regularly on various question types along with sufficient amount of practice. So do stay tuned to our channel, and if you are a new subscriber, please do leave a comment, and if you do not subscribe our channel, please do it immediately if you didn't do it till now. Now let's understand the methodology on how to get these questions right. So are you ready for that? Yes. The process is very simple, very direct. I don't want to confuse you by maybe beating about the bush. I just want to focus on that. Now what's the first step? Read the question, understand the question, and subsequently, once you read the question, you should read all the questions. I repeat, do not read question by question. You need to first analyze the meaning of all the questions and then match it, because we are not sure of whether the answers are in a sequence or not, right? So we do not want to take a risk. We will read all the questions so that wherever we find the appropriate matching, we do it immediately. It saves us a lot of time. quick tip. Okay, then the next one would be marking the correct keywords, and this is an essential step. If you haven't watched my video on how to identify and match the keywords, I'll relink it in the description box. And that video takes you to my note completion or table completion video, in which I have spoken in detail about keyword identification. So do check it out. Then finally, once you have identified the correct keywords, we are going to look out for synonyms. Those are parallel expressions that match the meaning, but they are as it is, they are not the word, but another word that signifies the same meaning. So once we have identified the synonyms, we are going to match them, and that's how we get the answer straight. Correct. Now, easier said than done, right? So you might be wondering, oh, the process seems to be very direct and simple, but unless and until you practice, you would not get a clear-cut idea on how to do it in the main exam. So I'll help you out with that, and let's continue. Let's do some practice. Sure? Okay, so now let's move on to understanding how exactly this question type looks in the question paper. Excited about that, I hope. Yes, I am excited too. Oh yes, now the wait is finally over. You can see how the list of description question looks like. So first, it is very important to read the instructions. So what is the instructions giving us? Match each statement with the correct person from A to G, which means we have to write the answer not as the name of a person, but with the alphabet that corresponds to the people or the person. So having understood that, let's read all the questions and then mark the keywords. So are you ready for that? Let's get started. The first one, or the 31st question in this case, created an automation that represented a bird in water interacting with its surroundings. So this particular person, he created some sort of an automation that resembled or that represented a bird in water that is interacting with its surroundings or with its environment. Fine. Then the next one, created an automaton that performed on a musical instrument. Here musical instrument is the keyword. Okay, so earlier it was bird in water and its interaction with the surroundings. Then the 32nd one is talking about interaction and the performance on a musical instrument. Okay, then the 33rd one, produced documents or maybe some written records or some sort of a file about how to create automata, or about the process of creating automata. So who did that? Next, created automata which required a human being to operate the mechanism. So until and unless there is manual effort or the presence of a human, this process wouldn't work. So who created that? Finally, used air and water power. So this person created such an automata that worked using air and water power. Okay, so now having understood the descriptions, now let's understand the list of people. Have you seen that there are 7 names which are jotted down here? Now you might be wondering, oh, there are just 5 questions, but when I look at the box, I could see 7 people. Oh, why is that? The answer is straightforward. Just to confuse us, they give more number of people. That's it. So we should match it appropriately. Now that we have understood the context, let's start doing this. And at this point of time, if I were you, what would I have done is, first of all, I know that the names of people are nouns, and obviously the names wouldn't be paraphrased. The names wouldn't be given as synonyms. So I could find the direct names in the context. So quickly, what I'll go ahead and do is, I'll highlight wherever there is a name of a person, I'll read the text and I'll immediately underline and highlight that. Now, and then I'll try matching it with the description that fits whatever the person has to say. Okay, so for example, TCBS, the first person, and the second one is Arab engineers. C corresponds to Da Vinci, D corresponds to Meladet, and E corresponds to Wilkinson, and F corresponds to Merlin, G says Jacques Ross. Fine, so let's quickly highlight where these names are found, and because it is a practice session, I have done that for you. Let's quickly see. Yes, so this is how the passage looks, and as you can see, I have pointed several arrow marks that highlight where the nouns exactly are located. Can you see that my first arrow points towards Ctesibius? Okay, so now let's read the paragraph that surrounds that word. In Egypt, Ctesibius experimented with air pressure and pneumatic principles. So what did he work on? Air and pneumatic principles. One of his creations was a singing blackbird powered by water. So here we have got two very important and significant keywords. What are they? Air pressure, and in the next line we have found water. Oh, are you getting a hint? Let's go back and check which one may suit this. Can you clearly see that question number 35 says used air and water power? Is it clear? So now who did the research on that? Of course it is Ctesibius. So what would be the answer for the 35th question? The answer would be A. Oh, have you understood how easy it is if you read all the questions? Now if you go from question to question, then you would ultimately be wasting a lot of time. Fine. Now we'll carry on the simple approach, and just like we have done for the earlier question, we'll just continue reading with the second noun. As you can see, I have pointed out an arrow in the second paragraph which says, much later, Arab engineers, oh we have got the keyword, Arab engineers of the 9th and 13th centuries wrote detailed treatises on how to build programmable musical fountains. So what did they do? They have written something, which means they have documented something, isn't it? So written and documented are synonyms. So let's just go back to the question and check which question is matching to which description. As you can see, Arab engineers produced documents on how to create automata. So what's the answer for the 33rd question? Obviously that would be B. So now we have answered two questions, 33rd which is B and 35th which is A. Now let's read further. Yes, so now moving on further, I have highlighted three other scientists. Who are they? Meladet, as you can see, that comes first in the context. Let's read about what this person has done. Meladet made extensive use of gearing and cogs to produce automata of horses worked by turning a handle. So what did he do? He made extensive use of gears and cogs to produce automata of horses. Now let's see what this corresponds to. Okay, is it talking about any bird in water? No. Is it talking about any musical instrument? No. At 33rd is already done. Created automata which required a human being to operate the mechanism. Okay, so are we getting the relevance to this? Let's just check out once again. If you are not certain, let's go back and reread. Okay, so it's clearly mentioned that cogs to produce automata of horses worked by turning a handle, which means it does involve human effort into that. So that's the reason we confirm that Meladet is the person who created automata that required a human being to operate the mechanism. So the answer for the 34th question would be D, that is Meladet. Now let's continue reading. Okay, in the next sentence itself we have Wilkinson, who produced a duck. Okay, he produced a duck made of copper which ate drank and quacked like a real duck. Oh, so it was a mimic of that. It was the model of that. He also made a life-size female flute player, just like a robo kind of thing. Air passes through the complex mechanism, causing the lips and fingers of the player to move naturally on the flute. I hope all of you know that flute is a musical instrument. It's a direct match, isn't it? So, which question does it correspond to? Yes, you're right. It does correspond to the 32nd question that says created an automation that performed on a musical instrument. And what is that in this case? It is flute. Okay, so now it confirms that the answer for the 32nd question is E. So now we have understood the answer for the last 4 questions, and we are yet to get the answer for the 31st question. So let's read further. Okay, so coming back to the next position of the arrow. In another well-known piece, Merlin's Silver Swan, made in 1773, the swan sits in a stream consisting of glass rods where small silver fish are swimming. Okay, so what is it telling? It's talking about a bird. Obviously, it is a swan. And does it ring the bell? Oh, yes. So, it corresponds very well to the 31st question, doesn't it? Created an automation that represented a bird in water. So, what is the bird in this case? It's a swan that sits in a stream, which corresponds to water, consisting of glass rods where small silver fish are swimming. Of course, it suggests that it is the habitat of the swan, that is water. Here, the surroundings corresponds to water. So the answer for the 31st question would be F, that is Merlin. Now let's check if we have got the right answers. Yes, F, E, B, D, A. That's the right order that we have got. See how easy it is if you get the strategy right. So I hope you have understood this technique very well, and you'll practice more number of passages of matching the list of descriptions to the people. And I hope you have a wonderful time preparing for the IELTS test. And by the way, this passage is taken from the general version of Cambridge 12. Okay, so if you have any doubts regarding this video or would like to comment and let us know on how you like the video, do leave a comment. We would love to look at your comments and your appreciation. Then please do like this video, share it, and do subscribe and ring the bell icon for our channel World of English Exams. Until I see you the next time with a new video, happy preparation, take care.